let us know what's going on at the Opportunity Exchange and kind of like why we brought this group together today in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to see everybody, some new faces and some familiar faces. So hello, my name's Peter. I'm one of the co-founders of the Opportunity Exchange. And yeah, super excited that everybody here was able to join the conversation today. It's been awesome to have folks new, old, be a part of the journey with the Opportunity Exchange over the course of the past couple of years. And Leo and I, Leo, my co-founder, who's also on the call here, appreciate the engagement that y'all have brought to the community since we've been working on it since 2019. As you may have seen from the emails that we sent out talking about this event, we've made the decision to wind down the Opportunity Exchange over the course of this year, following the acquisition of the company by a group called Blue Dot. But as part of that, we wanted to be really proactive to ensure that we're continuing to support you all, support the industry, and ensure that folks like you have the ability to continue to build your network and make connections in the space. That's what we originally set out to do, and we want to ensure that that can continue. And so it's for that reason that we set this event up with Chris. We've known Chris for a number of years now. We've worked with his partners at Opportunity DB a lot. Maybe some of you have listened to some of the podcasts that Chris's teammate Jimmy has put together. But we're really excited to be able to have this event and introduce you folks now, and hopefully a bunch of people over time to the work that Chris is doing with OZworks, the community they've built, and how they can be a resource for folks who are looking to get connected in the space. And so, with that, I think today Chris will share a bit of an overview of OZworks. I think we can have a very nice discussion, interactive conversation together. And it should be a good time for you to learn about this awesome resource and how you can continue to stay engaged. So thanks all for joining. And Chris, I'll kick it back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. It's been a real pleasure to get to know you guys and what you've been up to. And I also want to commend you and Leo for really being supportive of the OZ industry as a whole in, doing this collaboration with us and saying like, hey, there's another resource, not just closing it down and saying like, hey, see you later. Good luck out there, right? You're truly supporting these folks and everybody who's here and beyond. So I just want to say thank you for that. And yeah, so my name's Chris Cooley. The format of the session today is one, we wanted to make an introduction. Obviously, Peter, just to let you know about what's going on at the Opportunity Exchange and give you an overview of what we're doing at OZworks Group. So I'm one of the co-founders, along with, as Peter mentioned, Jimmy Atkinson and Ashley Tyson. You may know Ashley. He's been on Jimmy's podcast quite a bit and also runs something called OZ Pros, which is a done-for-you qualified opportunity fund setup and guidance and legal counsel support. And so when those guys came to me, my background's in community building, launching physical collaborative workspaces, co-working spaces, shared offices. That's how I learned about OZs in the first place. Actually, I had a client that landed in an opportunity zone and said, what is this? This was like two and a half years ago. And so Jimmy and Ashley came to me. I went to them first to get some advice because I'd heard about them through the grapevine. And they came back and said, hey, we should really think about building this online sort of community tool and space for an ecosystem for people across the country to be able to connect and get resources, get service providers, get their questions answered. And so in essence, OZworks Group was created as an online co-working space for the opportunity zone industry. And, we're currently, we're over 260 members now. It's a paid platform. So it's a vetted community in that sense where we do ask people to, pay to play, if you will. We do concierge services. So we have a whole team behind the scenes, community manager and community managers, I should say, and people who truly get to know you and make introductions. And we also have Zoom sessions, which I'll get into here in a little bit, that make strategic connections happen and real networking. So if we have time today, we'll maybe get to some of that. We do breakout rooms and things where people are able to, get to know each other. And so that's really part of relationship building, getting to know people. And so I'll show you the structure here. I want to do a little bit of a demo, but at the end, we'll kind of spend 10 or 15 minutes just reviewing what we've put together and what it looks like for people who are members. And give you a little taste of that. And then we'll move into maybe some Q&A. I mean, I'm happy to field questions about the platform, about your projects. we've got a good little group here. So like I said, if you can turn your camera on and you're able to participate, that we can do some of that too. So I'll share my screen here for a second. And unless anybody has questions about any of that, just chime in. You can use the chat or you can just interrupt me. That's totally fine. So what I'll do here, I want to just share my screen and show some slides. And this circle, this is in essence our ecosystem. The center point of that circle is really you, the member. And what we wanted to do is create this experiential space where people could come in from all over the country, all different stakeholders. I mean, we have investors, we've got issuers, we've got service providers, real estate developers. The whole point was to have everyone from the ecosystem be here in this space, just because you never know who you're going to cross paths with and who's going to be able to help you and support you. So two things that are really important in our community when it comes to a value system and how we operate, and that is lead with a giving hand. So anyone and everyone you find in this community is coming from that place of abundance. We have multiple service providers doing the same thing, and they're actually collaborating to create new groups, new tools, new resources. They're collaborating with our members and with each other. They are members. The other thing is that we ask people to participate and engage, because you get out what you put in. And so we create a bunch of resources that are interactive and engaging and participatory. And ultimately, the people who get the most value from our membership are the ones that truly come to things. So I'll kind of flip down through a couple slides here. You see in the middle is the member. The things that we really focus on, and I mentioned we have some community managers that are basically on call 24/7. We also have rooms that are dedicated specifically to topics like real estate, business, and compliance. And so those are open with professionals on the back end moderating all of those sessions to be able to answer your Q&A. Like, so if you think of something at 2 a.m, there's a opportunity to post that and kind of get it out of your brain and get an answer to that. We also have live sessions with those moderators as well, which are, on a monthly basis, live open 1-hour Q&A. Again, I'll get to some of that in a second, but really this whole format was created so that people could kind of cut through the misconceptions and the misleading information to get real commentary and actionable feedback and steps to take more quickly. So this group is really for people who are beyond that stage of like initial research, looking through Google. We wanted a space that was a next step for the development. So we do have people in here who are serious about opportunity zones. We also have courses and educational content that's available to certain membership tiers. Everybody who comes in gets access to what we call 101 course. And that is video with myself, Ashley Tyson, and Jimmy, telling about how we set up OZworks Group, because we are actually a qualified opportunity zone business. So we wanted to be able to practice what we preach. And as we're explaining to people, saying, hey, like, you should do this, like, we should be examples of that, right? So education's key. And then I mentioned that relationship thing, networking, right, is like how business happens. And so we had this, I'll just give a little story. When we launched 1.5 years ago, we had 6 months of just online community building. And we did an event in Puerto Rico. If you don't know, the entire island of Puerto Rico is an opportunity zone, which is kind of wild. But we did an event down there, and it was like a family reunion. People who had never met from all over the country were coming together in this event. And I saw, like, in the middle of COVID, I actually saw a lot of hugs. Which is kind of cool, right? People who are supporting each other on an ongoing basis. And so this is really the structure of what we've built OZworks Group based on. The membership tiers, there's a couple of different tiers. So we built like almost a step ladder for people. The first membership tier we call Light. And again, I'll walk through this a little bit more, but we do offer a 3-day trial of the Light membership. It gets you into the online platform, private app. The video course that I mentioned is 101 overview, searchable libraries. So we've got 1.5 years worth of time and content under our belt. And so we have a searchable content library. The entire platform is searchable. So if you have questions about 1031 exchange or due diligence or whatever, there's chances are somebody's asked about it before. So there's a searchable feature within all this. And then we do weekly peer Zoom sessions. And so I want to mention that to everyone here on this call today, is that we've got this 3-day trial. And every Friday we have a 1-hour Zoom session where you get to meet other members. It is a networking session. We make introductions, and sometimes we have little presentations for 10 or 15 minutes at the most about different projects that are happening, or tools that are potentially available to you out there in Opportunity Zone land. So that's happening tomorrow. It happens every noon Eastern time every Friday. And so I'd like to encourage people to utilize the free trial, give a link here, because that gives you access to the networking session tomorrow that gets you into the platform so you can meet other people, and then a weekend to kind of try things out. So again, I mentioned also the 24/7 expert access. There are different compartments inside of the community for specific questions that you might need to ask about compliance, business, real estate. So that's the light membership. The base membership, as you can see, there's a couple things that get added to the wheel. It's everything in the light membership, plus you get those live monthly Q&As with moderated experts in different topic areas, and all video replays. So if you're not able to make something live, the base member gets access to all those video replays. The next tier up, again, walking up the ladder, is a pro membership. And what we've done is we've created 7 different courses, included the 101 course, but they're about qualified opportunity zone businesses, how to set that up. They're about opportunity zone basics. You get the intros, compliance, so how to file your tax reports. A lot of non-institutional investors, I'll say, in our community utilize these pro tools because they are looking to build a team and really execute their own qualified fund or project. And so these are resources, raising OZ capital. Like, what do you need to know to do that? So these courses are available to those pro members, but you can see what happened originally is we kind of had all this stuff in one ecosystem, and it was just a lot to handle. So we really identified who could potentially utilize the tools that we offer and at what stages of their OZ journey, and then carved it out and made it available in different ways. So, any questions or thoughts so far? This is sort of the chart. This is the flow of, and I'll go down through some of these resources. Any thoughts? I must be covering it well then. It's all right. We'll throw everybody in the blender and get things going here after I kind of walk through the full scope. As I said, if you have a question, throw it in the chat at any time. So
hey, Chris, I'm sorry.
No, it's great.
This is Suzanne. So a quick question that I have is, what is the makeup of the various folks or industries, I should say, that are part of the network group?
Industries meaning business owners, investors.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. Developers, lenders, just out of curiosity, what that full group of network individuals or categories or industries are part of it, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, what's interesting is Peter and I had a conversation about this with the Opportunity Exchange as well. And the breakdown is fairly similar. It's about 40% people who have OZ capital to deploy. So investors, mostly non-institutional investors. The institutional investors tend to gravitate toward Opportunity DB and OZ Pitch Day, which we're affiliated with. The project issuers, so we've got about 40% of our membership are people who have projects and are looking for capital. So it's kind of nice. It's almost like a matchmaking service in a way. And then we've got service providers make up about 20% of that. And so that's pretty parallel with other communities. I know Opportunity Exchange, Peter, I think it was pretty similar breakdown within your network as well, right?
That's right. Yep.
So we really wanted to, Suzanne, include as many people who represent the OZ stakeholder community at large as we possibly could, because we know that there's crossover, there's new ideas. I mean, in reality, this industry is still very young, because for 2 years the IRS was still figuring out what the regulations were going to be. So we're 3.5-ish years into this, and we've really only had a year to kind of like meld the entire marketplace or industry ecosystem together.
Sure.
So it's been neat to see that. Do you have a particular need or anything that you're looking for?
No, I operate pretty much on the capital side. So
Mhm.
I was just curious kind of what the entire network looks like.
Yeah,
And with rates changing as quick as they are, I can see um, opportunity zones or a structure like this being even more valuable.
absolutely. Yeah, totally. We are also, just as a little nugget, we're actually creating another community that is specifically designed and built for high net worth investors, family offices, and we're looking to create. It's going to be outside of OZworks Group, but connect with OZworks. So from a capital side, there's still a need for that really deep relationship building, and then the search for for projects that are vetted. And so in a lot of cases, people are coming into our community and building up that education around how to create a real successful OZ project, right? So is that helpful? Does that answer your question?
It is, yes. Thank you very much.
Great. Yeah, yeah. And
Mhm.
if anybody else has questions, please feel free. Um, I'll flip down through a couple more slides here, just to kind of go through. And Suzanne, this is more, this is kind of a little bit toward your question. We've really started to look at the personality or characteristic traits of who fits what level of membership best. So if you're just exploring and you're just curious about OZs still, the place that we recommend starting is our YouTube channel. We just launched our first season of content, and we're going to be launching more, just following streaming content formats and formulas. We've got seasons and episodes on YouTube. So there is content there, and our goal was to just break down really quickly, really easily, information that our first season is based more towards entrepreneurs, and we want to decodify the opportunity zone incentive, because a lot of reasons why people don't get into it is because there's 800 pages of code to read and IRS language, and how many entrepreneurs are really going to break that down when they're trying to run a business? So YouTube, just search OZworks Group. I think you'll find us pretty quickly. The next is for people who are moving beyond that mode. It's like I've listened to the podcast, I've looked at the YouTube videos. Now I want to get immersed into more knowledge and community. That's why we offered a 3-day trial and a test drive, so people can get the 101 video and experience what OZworks Group is. And that's why we really recommend joining the trial on a Friday morning, because you get that Friday noon session and also that weekend to try things out. The next is the base membership. That's for people who are like beyond test drive, right? Going into like, I want to be able to ask specific questions to OZ experts in real estate and business and compliance. But I don't need it all the time yet, right? I just want to casually sort of be able to chime in. The pro level is when you're ready to execute. And so rather than go have to search for credible resources, a lot of times the professionals in our network are coming to me and saying, basically, we have to play cleanup because CPAs and advisors and attorneys that don't have OZ experience are building it the wrong way. And then someone who's got capital and wants to create their own fund is having to come back to professionals like OZ Pros and say, you did it all wrong. Sorry, those capital gains weren't generated properly, or they won't print into the proper funnels. And so that can be really frustrating. And we really want to educate more people faster. So there is an advanced support that we've affiliated with OZ Pros, and that is a weekly 1.5 hour live open session with Ashley Tyson and his team at OZ Pros. This is it's way cheaper than an hourly consulting fee, but it's the top of our rung as far as pricing goes from a membership standpoint. But as you go through these membership tiers, you get everything underneath it. So that's what's pretty cool. And I'll just flip through these quick. I just sort of described them, but YouTube, obviously free, new content we're releasing. The light membership, you get that 3-day trial. It's $50 a month. That comes with the searchable content, the weekly Zoom sessions. I'm not going to go too deeply into this. I just kind of want to show how this model works. The base membership is $79.99 a month, gets everything in the light. Plus you get the video replays, plus you get the live Q&A monthly sessions. Pro is $250 a month, and then boot camp is $350 a month. I will also say that this is built like a co-working space, And we made it so that everyone can come in and utilize the tools and resources as needed. There's no long-term obligations to any of this. It's all, I mean, you can buy an annual membership and you save 20%, sort of like any Netflix membership or something, but you can opt out at any time, which is, convenient for people who are looking to try new communities and new tools. So that being said, there's a landing page that we created just for the opportunity exchange. So for people who are participating in this session, it's ozworksgroup.org /OPEX. So we wanted to keep it kind of simple. That will get you access to all the membership tiers, depending on what you might want to participate in. But it also gets you access to that 3-day trial. And I'm going to drop a link in the chat here in a second so that you can get just a direct link to that 3-day trial. Again, tomorrow's a great opportunity. We've kind of already teed up our other members to say like, hey, there may be a whole new group coming in. So get ready with your welcome hats on and get ready for a little party. But what we're doing tomorrow is we're going to do a mixer. So it's sort of like a speed dating thing where every 3 minutes we rotate one-on-one breakout rooms. So you have 3 minutes to have dialogue with somebody else who's in the OZ world. And it just really rapidly gets you introduced to a handful of people, which is kind of fun and cool. And if we have a minute, we might even try doing it today so you get an experience. But that's the overview. Any thoughts or questions? Nicole says, are we able to upgrade once in? Yes, there are upgrades. So if you come in at the light membership and after a couple months, you're like, hey, I'm ready to get more immersed. I want to ask some live questions in these moderated calls, then you can upgrade at any time. So that's a great question. Thank you. Any other thoughts? I see a couple of people joined us. Thanks for being here. I will say that we're going to record this and have a replay. So if you missed anything in the beginning, that's totally fine. Will the current prices go up? I think your question, Nicole, is, are we going to raise prices? Is that your question? If you can hear me. If you get in today and upgrade later, yeah, you pay the difference in the pricing of the upgrade. So if you went from a light membership to a base membership, you would actually, you pay the extra $30. And it gets you access to all the features. Right now, these prices are locked in. This is where we stand. We actually, as of 2 weeks ago, what was April 1st? What's today? We launched version 2.0 of OZworks Group. So these membership tiers are new, and we're committed to this for at minimum a year, if not longer. I mean, I think that our pricing structure is pretty much on point where we want it to be. So no, yes, to answer your question, these are the pricing tiers as of right now. And I'll say right now on record that we will not raise prices for at least 1 year, if not longer. Tell us about deals. Greg asked a question about why Opportunity Exchange is winding down. Greg, we covered it a little bit in the beginning, but I don't know, Peter, if you want to address it quickly again. And yes, to answer your question, Opportunity Exchange is winding down. I don't know if you're looking at why or not, but.
Yeah, I can share a little bit of recap some of the context for folks new folks who've joined. This is Peter. I'm one of the co-founders of the Opportunity Exchange. Yeah, so Greg, perhaps how we connected with you is you may have created an account on the Opportunity Exchange and connected with projects or posted a project yourself on the platform in the past couple of years. We're winding down that platform, but didn't want to leave folks out in the cold and wanted to make sure that people could continue to get connected to folks doing exciting work in the space. And so, as part of the process of winding down the Opportunity Exchange, we wanted to ensure that folks could get connected with Chris and the team at OZworks Group, since they've built an awesome community that we've heard great things about and been a part of in various ways over the course of the past couple of years. And so decided to host this event to get folks connected, introduced, have the chance to ask questions and things like that. And so here we are today.
Cool. Thanks, Peter. And Dana, there's a quick question here. We don't ask or report on specific deal, like we don't require reporting. That's actually something that we're going to be talking to Congress about. We have connections to Capitol Hill, and on the 28th of this month, we're going to be doing an event. Myself and Jimmy and Ashley are writing a letter to Congress, and we're doing a digital signature event to actually look at extending the OZ incentive. And to do that, we're also going to advocate for mandatory or required reporting. But right now, we don't report on the deals that necessarily come through the group. I will tell you, though, that our first event in Puerto Rico, we had 30 investors that attended that event, and they were personally responsible for $14.6 million of investment in Puerto Rico because of our community and because of our event that we hosted, and that was just a one-day workshop. So that's just one instance. I know there's a lot of deal flow that happens through this community. Personally, I'm not at liberty to report on any of those per contractual NDAs and agreements, but I will tell you that there is a lot of value in building these types of relationships, especially in a place that is a vetted private network. There's still a layer of due diligence that we ask everyone to do, but we've got a lot of incredible resources here. So hope that answers your question. I think what I'd like to do, keep the questions coming. These are great. I really quickly want to show the platform. So if you can still see my screen, this is the OZworks Group desktop version. There's also a mobile app that's available. We use a backbone called Mighty Networks. This is a community platform. It's in essence sort of a cross between a messaging system, Facebook feed, a LinkedIn profile, and it's all specific to opportunity zones, right? Mike's here. He was asking me on platform, right? Where's the link for today's event? That's funny. So there's notifications that get set up. We tag people. I mentioned like a search feature in this. So if you're interested in 1031 exchanges and how that plays into different opportunity zone strategies, you can see all the commentary that's been brought up about it in the past and different resources and presentations that have been done that include that. You can also see that there's just a running feed where you can access different events that just come up and different commentary on those events and different questions. Here's the thing about pitch day, and we shared a bunch of videos. So there's a lot of people. I said there's last I looked, we were just over 260 members. It fluctuates. We just had like a big influx last 2 days, so I'm not sure where we're at right now. But these are all, again, people who are serious about opportunity zones. The thing that I want to mention and show you is in the events, there is tomorrow. This is the Zoom session. So we've got about 65 people that have registered for it, but this is where all the Zoom links live. And so if you were to take us up on the free trial link, I wanted to show you how you could navigate to that event for tomorrow and just click in on the Zoom and join us there. It'll be a lot of fun and great to get people connected in that way. I won't get into detail. We also do an intake interview with all of our new members so that we get to know you. Our community managers, like, this is a very hands-on process. And so, we want to get to know everyone and point you in the right direction because there is a lot of content here. And so all of it's, made available in specific to your needs. So we also do a demo of the platform, and there's links on our YouTube channel that show the whole platform. But anyway, this is mostly for tomorrow. Mike, are you here? Can you hear me? I think I see Mike.
Yeah, I'm here, Chris.
Hey, what's up, man?
How much, man? How are you?
I'm good. You let me do the overview here, and then it's perfect timing. I wanted to give Mike the floor for a minute, just so everyone knows. Mike is. I'll let Mike introduce what he does, but he he introduced me to the Opportunity Exchange, not directly to Peter, but just the Opportunity Exchange in general a while ago as a user. And Mike, I wanted you to talk a little bit about your experience also in OZworks Group, because you are the ultimate networker in Opportunity Zone land. So, in that move, as Opportunity Exchange winds down, I'm sure you could talk a little bit more about how OZworks Group has played into the value of that networking in this industry. But please, you're here. Tell everybody what you do. You've grown into a major role in opportunity zones as well. So I want to commend you as always for that. But please, by all means, let us know what you're up to and how maybe some of this has played a role.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Pleasure to meet everyone. So I'm a commercial real estate broker through and through. A lot of work in investment sales and 1031 exchange business. And through those efforts, I am a huge believer in leverage any type of technology that I can use to, network, source deals, sell deals, connect the dots. And first, to anyone that's here looking at the OZworks Group and is interested in understanding what a community really is and to network with like-minded people around opportunity zones, I would encourage you all to take the test drive because especially coming out of COVID, this became such an important community for me with what I was doing in my career. And so that's a little plug for Chris and his team. I was pivoting a little bit into opportunity zones when they first came out. I really didn't have a roadmap. But because of so much of my work was in 1031 exchanges, I was curious more than anything about what OZworks, O-zones were and the deferral capital gains. And so a lot of this was just really, no clear roadmap at the time. I think it was so new for everyone. So I just started doing what I always did was looking for technology and platforms out there. And I was lucky enough to find the Opportunity Exchange. And I kind of looked at that. I was like, oh, this is gold because it was a dedicated resource for a variety of folks out there, the economic development community, agencies, sponsors that, had a dedicated place to host their deals. So that was like me going fishing. I just started throwing my line into the water and making outbound connections. And I can speak with certainty. I've built relationships through that platform on a couple sizable deals that we're actively working on. And so that's, really, I think there's a huge benefit to having this type of technology. There's a lot of, you got CoStar and LoopNet and all those, and people will tag whether it's in an opportunity zone or not. That's fine. You can set up search criteria, but to have the ability to go in where there's like-minded professionals that want to get their projects out into the universe. And, from a brokerage world, I think it's a wide open playing field. If anyone's a broker, we try to facilitate and connect the dots. So I have made a full-on pivot into opportunity zones. It's a passion for me now. It's kind of my purpose and my why. And I couldn't have, I feel so blessed and happy to meet Chris and his whole team. And excited to see what we all do together going forward. So that's kind of it.
Thanks, Mike. You've been like a member from very early on, and I'd say that like we've been around for 10 years or something, but it seems like it's been, even though it's only been like, a year plus. But yeah, I also I did put a link for that test drive that we've been talking about in the chat. If anybody wants to utilize that today, again, we've got this thing on Friday, tomorrow. Mike, the other thing that I wanted to mention is, you and I have been having discussions about creating a workshop, right? To be able to help these deals become more mature, advance their strategies for receiving investment, right? And being able to build off of just being announced, right? So it's great to have a place for listings. It's another to help develop projects so that investors can either get more involved or at least see new deals that are coming to fruition, right? And so one of the things you and I have been talking about, and it's because of the OZworks Group platform, right, are workshops that actually help to build up those businesses, right? And so just another example that is, coming together to think about abundance from that mindset standpoint through relationship building. I mean, you've built your whole career and spent your whole career networking, right? And so here's another tool for that allows you to network with people all over the country that have a like mind and are in the same sort of industry that who knows where it's going to go, right? I mentioned we're looking at actually officially next week we'll be launching a build for a new community that is designed for family offices and high net worth investors, and that's also came about because of this community, right? So there's a lot happening here. And I would love to see obviously all of you, join us and meet you more. Mike, is there anything else that you wanted to add? I appreciate you being around, man. It just seemed like a good fit.
Yeah. No, listen, I look at this where we are today. It's just a paradigm shift, how we do business. And for, OZworks to come about at the peak of the pandemic, there was just a real, there was just so much energy in here. People wanted to find a community, and that's been the best part. And I think, as we grow and evolve, it just opens up new possibilities that you might not be able to really appreciate right now from the outside. Like anything, you got to pour into it and build the relationships. But I would say with confidence that is definitely possible within this community. You got to put into it, and if you do, then something's going to come back. So I'm just real excited, again, to found this community and where it's going to go.